Hello. Welcome to this post-match show of Women's Premier League. The match between Delhi Capitals and UP Warriors have just ended, and Delhi Capitals have stretched their second consecutive win by defeating UP Warriors by 42 runs. Talia McGrath tried her best, but ultimately her 90-run unbeaten knock wasn't sufficient to give UP Warriors a win. Delhi Capitals, as I said, sealed their second win on the trot, 42-run win. Atro, your fresh thoughts on this match? Delhi Capitals are looking like a really good side in this tournament so far.
Yeah, they have been because in the first match we saw the power of their top order, and in this match we saw the depth in their batting order. I mean, at
Right.
146 for four after 15 overs, at a point when UP had taken a couple of quick wickets, it could have gone awry for them for Delhi Capitals. Had they
True.
lost one more wicket or two more wickets, it could have been very different. But then we saw that
True.
fifth wicket partnership between Jemima and Jonathan, which completely
Yeah.
took them
Right.
away from UP. I mean, they did
Right.
chase, an improbable total in the last match, scoring 56 runs in the last three overs. But 211 was going to be an uphill task, and so it proved once they
True.
lost three wickets in the first six overs.
True, absolutely, and it all started from McLanning. The captain scored a fantastic with 70 of 42 deliveries, showed her power also, three sixes in that knock. But later, as Athro said, the power of the bottom, the middle order, the lower middle order came into play with Jemima Rodriguez scoring 34 unbeaten of 22, Alice Capsey playing a cameo of 21 of 10, and then Jess Jonathan, she has done it so many times for Australia as well. She bats even at 8 or 9 for Australia, but clearly here at number 6, 42 unbeaten of 20 deliveries took Delhi Capitals to a mammoth total of 211. And regardless of the sizes of the boundary, 211 always gives you that psychological advantage when batting first. But coming to UP Warriors, Akro, I mean, Talia Megra, of course, standout performer with 90 unbeaten. But do you think that top three, where two Indian domestic players are there? Of course, Elisa Healy is one of the main stalwarts, but the top three, we haven't seen many teams having two domestic players, uncapped players in that among that top three. Do you think that is something which UP Warriors need to check? Maybe bring someone like Talia Megra up in the order or try something different?
They might try something different, but the thing is that, yeah, you're right. I mean, very few teams have two Indian uncapped players in the top three, and which means
Right.
that Healy is under additional pressure, especially when chasing such a huge target. She had to take
True.
chances early on. She got a few boundaries in
True.
the first few overs, but then, I mean, she had to get a few more. In six overs, you had to get something around 60 to stand a chance of
True.
making a match of this. So those two
True.
uncapped players, Indian players, are putting a bit of pressure on Healy, which is showing, which is
True.
telling.
True.
Hi,
And of
Bharat.
course, Bharat has also joined. Bharat has also joined us. Bharat, if you can just take your camera a bit down so that you are in the middle of the frame. Yes, this is much better. What's your take on this match? Delhi Capitals winning their second on the trot. Complete performance by them again. Of course, Talia tried her best, but it was too little, too late. 90 unbeaten. Something which requires a partnership or support from the other end, but which was clearly not visible today. What's your take on this match?
Yeah, as you know, started on a sort of different note because Grace Harris, they dropped her and they took Shabnim Ismail. Obviously, there was some grass on the wickets. I think they left some live grass. So
Right.
Ismail got some swing and seam, and obviously that leading edge, she induced that leading edge, and it went all the way to for a six, and then couple of top
Right.
edges as well. I mean, she has an excellent short ball, as we've already seen. That someone who bowls at 129 kilometers per hour and follows the batter all the time. But yeah,
Right.
the boundaries were just too small. 48 meters. At one point, perhaps it was even lesser, 44 or 45 meters. So
Yeah.
200 runs. The ball was skidding on. So 200 runs. I think the target was still chaseable, but obviously the last wickets. And obviously from there, Delhi were always going to win. And again, I have to also think of Yes Vanesan. She's someone who's really good utility cricketer. someone
Right,
who bowls on round the wicket. As you saw the way she deceived Haley, she was the feet of Haley like a hawk, and
right,
that is why she adjusted that length, and then she bowls on over the wicket. We saw her last
right,
year, well, in the 2022 World Cup. Uh, the last over or something, she bowled to Nat Skyver when she was in such good form, and then took that one-handed brilliant catch. Same thing she did in the 2023 T20 World Cup. So yeah, it
right.
was a very all-round performance. Again, Meg Lanning was obviously she was in great form as well. So another all-round performance from Delhi.
Atro, what do you make of this Delhi Capital side? Of course, we have talked about their balance, the kind of players they have, plenty of all-rounders in that team, plenty of specialist bowlers and batters in this team. But as an overall side, what do you think make of this Delhi Capital side? And of course, the leadership skills of Meg Lanning. She's so habituated of lifting trophies. Maybe they are looking at another trophy. Meg Lanning is looking at another trophy at a cabinet. Too early to say right now, but what do you make of this Delhi Capital side?
Question for me?
Yes, absolutely for
Hello.
you. Yes,
See, as you
absolutely.
said,
This question is for you.
at the moment, it seems as if those, although these are early days in the into the tournament, but at the moment it looks like that Delhi Capitals have almost all the bases covered. They are ticking most of the right boxes, and they're
Mhm.
getting runs from almost everybody in the top six. See, the point to note here is, of course, Lanning and Jonathan with the standout performers with the bat, but we must also not overlook, cannot forget that the other four who batted contributed 88 of them, which is almost 10 runs
True.
and over. So,
Right,
so although none of them got big runs, Jemima got 30 odd, rest were all in 20s and 15, 18 like that. But the strike rate was quite eye-catching. And so that's
right,
why they got this total. Had two of their players got those kind of runs, then the 211 wouldn't have been possible. Like we saw in case of the UP innings. Uh, uh, I mean, but Megra got a few, got almost all their runs, and they didn't find anything
right,
from anywhere else. So that is a big
right,
difference. And also, as you pointed out, they have batters who can bowl, they have bowlers who can bat, and also they are a very good fielding side. I mean, possibly one of the
right. I think yes, Atro is having some technical internet issues. But Bharat, coming to you, I mean, as Atro said, they have so much of so many of utility cricketers. But at the same time, I would like to get into the bowling department as well. Uh, every bowler seems to be going at a surplus of 7 or 8 or even 10 in the economy zone. Do you think with the boundary meters, boundary parameters being at 48, 50, or even lesser than that, we are being like fans are being too harsh with the bowling performances, and they should give a bit of leeway for the bowlers given the boundary sizes?
Obviously, because as I said, that particular leading edge, I go back to that leading edge.
Yeah,
There is a really good delivery. If you notice, early on she was bowling outside of Shabnim Ismail, then she shifted her line really well, and that should have led to a wicket. If not a wicket, at least she shouldn't have gone for a six for sure. Then there was
right.
two couple of top edges again. Those two were really good short balls. So it's really difficult if it's 48 meters or 44, 45 meters. It's really difficult. Even if you leave grass, today there was grass. Definitely there was sea
Hmm.
movement. Even when Cap
Hmm.
was bowling, notice got a few to swing away and see.
Right.
But if boundaries are so short, then you could see even with Sophie Ecclestone when she was bowling. I think one top edge that she actually imparted decent revs on that ball, and she gave some nice flight. Even that top edge went for a six. She didn't give any pace on that ball, but it still went for a six. That tells you something about the short boundaries in place. I can
Yes,
understand with
Atro,
Shabnim.
yeah.
I can
Yeah,
understand
please,
with
please,
Shabnim
Bharat.
Ismail bowling. Yeah, I can understand with Shabnim Ismail's 129 kilometer per hour short ball going for a six. But that ball from Sophie Ecclestone, she took all the pace off, but it still went for a six top edge.
That's the reality that these bowlers, these pacers will have to live with it. 48, and I guess I read somewhere that BCCI officials or BCCI as a whole have clearly said that it was according to source but they have clearly said that the boundary sizes won't go beyond the 60-meter length in this WPL, which tells a different story altogether. And we must do a video or a story completely on how it is unfair on the bowlers, because I saw that the leading edge you were talking about, it was a length delivery by Shabnim Ismail, perhaps at a plus of 120, and it just took a edge.
And
Meglaning tried to flick it, and it went straight.
she
Yes.
got even swing on that ball.
Yes,
Center.
yes, and the hint of outswing, and it just took an edge and flew straight to the long on boundary rope, and that is what the reality is right now. But coming to Talia Migra, I mean, played a fantastic knock of 90 unbeaten, and perhaps deserved to be on the winning side. But what do you make of? I asked the same question to Athreyo as well. Two domestic players in the top three in the form of Shweta Sehrawat and Kiran Navgire, although Kiran batted beautifully in the last match. But do you think, I mean, all the teams have at least two overseas players in the top three, Bharat? And do you think having two domestic players, uncapped players with less experience of facing those top players, overseas bowlers, do you think that can UP Warriors have to find another way of either promoting an overseas player or try something different there?
Yeah, they can do that. As you know, in Indian domestic cricket, they won't face the likes of, say, Cap or someone like that who bowls at good
Right,
pace or just get some bounce. He's someone who bowls hard length. Even with the spins as well, the quality is sort of different. So having two domestic, yeah, sort of greenhorns, you can say, in a way, in top three, it didn't really go well for them. As far as Magra is concerned, you also have seen in the T20 World Cup that 57 she scored off some 33 balls at
right,
Portal. That track had spongy bounce. The pitch, I think it was kind of, the ball is not coming on the bat. She still smashed at 57 or 33.
true,
Or for the matter, at 93 not out, she scored off 51 balls for Strikers against Hurricanes. I think last year on November 18 or something, she scored a
right,
90 or 51 balls. She absolutely smashed them. She's one of those rare players who seems to have that power, and she seems to have that footwork as well against spin. So I think they can use her as a floater as well if they really want to, because she
right.
can play spin well, and she's also very good against pace. She can move
Hmm.
around the field. Someone who can, as we saw even the 19th over, I think she was batting. She moved towards the leg side. The bowler saw her movement, she saw it trigger
Hmm.
and outside off, and she was still able to sort of open the bat face and hit through off. So someone who's a really good player. So I think they can use her as a
Right.
floater.
And that's why she's one of the top players in T20 format around the world, and her reputation speaks a lot about the talent and the kind of matches she has won in WBBL and for Australia as well. Athra, coming to you, the main talking point before this match was UP Warriors dropping Grace Harris. Of course, they have Elisa Healy, they have Talia Migra, they have Sophie Eccleston, and someone like Shabnim Ismail who can clock high speed. But at the same time, you would definitely want someone like Grace Harris to be in that 11. How do you sort that out? If you are sitting in that UP Warriors team management, how would you put a Grace Harris in that 11? Given that you have already four classy overseas players in that 11 already.
Question for me?
Yes, yes, absolutely, for you.
See, it's going to be very difficult. At the moment, it looks like to accommodate Grace Harris, the only thing they can do is if somebody else doesn't get injured, is you have to drop Ismail.
Hmm.
Otherwise, I mean, how do you fit her in? And Ismail, although it's going to be a very tough call because Ismail didn't do a bad job today. I mean, she went for
Right, right,
around 29 runs in 4 overs, of which 3 overs
right,
went for 13. And she was unlucky, as
right,
Bharat pointed out. I mean, she could have she could have got the wicket of landing twice in the first 2 overs. So it's very
right,
difficult. It's going to be a little bit harsh. But sometimes things are harsh. I mean, in this kind of cricket, franchisee cricket, where there's a restriction, there's a cap on the number of foreigners you can field at the 11. So there are times when you have to take some calls which can go either way. I mean, if it clicks, you'll be praised. If it doesn't, you'll be criticized. But that's what they have to face now.
right. Right, and
Right.
of course, I mean, yes, of course, with Elisa Healy leading the side, and you have top three, one of the like three of the top three players, arguably in their department. Talia Megra as an all-rounder, Shabnim Ismail, the fastest pacer going around in the women's cricket, and it's going to be a tricky call, as Arthur mentioned. But Delhi Capitals, Bharat, they must be absolutely buzzing right now. 2 out of 2 wins, possibly looking at the Mumbai Indian side. Delhi Capitals are someone who have matched the same sort of quality. And if you look at the team, I'm going through the scorecard, and they are absolutely stacked when it comes to the bowling and batting department here. But if you have to find any weaknesses in that Delhi Capitals unit, what it would be according to you? Because I can't find any in the batting department at least.
Not sure. As of now, there doesn't seem to be much. As far as weaknesses, I can't see much.
If you are in the opponent dugout, what would you say? How to tackle Delhi Capitals?
If I'm the opposition dugout, what I would think is how to somehow break that opening stand. If I somehow get that breakthrough right up front, if I make an incision up front, then perhaps one can put them under some kind of pressure, because I think that's a daunting partnership right at the top. At the head,
Right.
Lanning is someone who's so good.
67 run partnership in 6.3 overs. 67 run partnership in 6.3 overs.
You have one orthodox batter who can play shots all around the park, and then you have who can explore every nook and cranny of the ground, and then you have Shafali Verma who manufactures room, plays a lot of shots. So that is what I would think of now if I'm in the opposition camp. If I can get that early breakthrough, in that sense, that's what I tweeted as well. In that sense, only from that sense, I could see why they actually thought of Shabnim Ismail, because if they could get that initial wicket breakthrough, that could have put some pressure, but didn't happen. She actually did bowl well, but it just didn't work out for them. I think that's what the opposition would look at, just to see what the middle order would come up if one wicket falls right up front.
After a bit of a technical question for you, with boundary sizes being just at 48, 50, 55 meters. Having someone like Shabnim Ismail, I'm a huge fan of her. Bowls rapid pace. But do you think that's some sort of a double-edged sword for UP Warriors? Because as Bharat pointed out, the leading edges are flying for sixes. Do you think that's a bit of a double-edged sword? Because although she did a good job, 29 runs in 4 overs, but she might go for plenty of runs even if she's bowling quick. She's bowling well. The leading edges will fly for sixes and not give her wickets. Do you think that that is some sort of a double-edged sword in this WPL?
See, I couldn't hear you properly. What's the question exactly on?
Shabnim Ismail, her rapid pace, bowling at 120, 125 plus, with leading edges flying for sixes. Do you think that is a double-edged sword for UP Warriors if Shabnim doesn't give you wickets up front and goes for a bit of runs? Do you think that is a double-edged sword for UP Warriors in this WPL, with boundary sizes being very short?
See, when you gamble with a particular player by dropping a match winner, then if she doesn't take wickets, then it becomes a double-edged sword. Yes, I mean, as we discussed earlier, that it can go this way, it can go that way, and it's a thin line. But I don't think, having said that, I don't think Shabnim Ismail did too badly. I mean, I mean, you also have to consider that luck didn't go her way. I mean, that leading edge in the first over or second over going for a six. And after a tidy first over, she went for 1-4 and 1-6 in the first 2 overs. So there were 10 dot balls, which she could have got landed twice. So luck didn't go her way. And as far as you were asking the previous question about the weaknesses of Delhi Capitals, I think we came within 1 wicket of seeing that today. Had 1 wicket been down at in mid 140s, had it been 150 for 5 or 160 for 6, then there were not too many batters to come. So that is where we have to see what Delhi Capital does when it comes to the lower middle order. But as far as the top 6 are concerned, they are very strong. And coming back to Ismail, I mean, I feel bad for her because she was, I mean, very few bowlers considered at 7.5 in this match. So she was
Right.
one of those. I mean,
Right.
the
Exactly.
only one from her side, and alongside a few more from the other opposition side, and it could
Right.
easily have been. She could have had 2 wickets, and that could have, as Bharat liked to say, that could have made a difference early on. I mean, get Meg Lanning early.
Right.
You never know what happens because Lanning has got them off to blazing starts in both matches so far. Getting Lanning out early and such a player to get rid of a player of her caliber
Hmm.
could have been made things more challenging for the Delhi Capitals, but they didn't happen today. Uh, we have to see what happens in the rest of the tournaments. But what is clear is that Delhi Capital has already taken, two convincing wins and very good net run rate.
Right.
So Delhi
Right.
Capital
Right.
has
Right.
got off to the best possible start, and I see. I mean, I find it difficult for to stop them from going further.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. They are right now, Steve, rolling past opponents alongside Mumbai Indians at this moment. Bharat, a bit about Shikha Pandey, how she bowled today, 4 overs, 18 runs, and 1 wicket. You have followed Shikha Pandey's career, and what a brilliant bowler, what a brilliant servant to Indian cricket. A word about her and her performance today.
Yeah, yes, she's very experienced. She's good variations. We saw even in the T20 World Cup when she played in one game
Right,
or something. Yeah, she bowled with some
right,
good variations. I think it was against England. She's a fine seam bowler. We have seen it
right.
before with that sort of front on action, gets a little bit of seam movement into the batter. Yeah, so someone, yes, she's very experienced. So just showed the wisdom of our experience in these conditions. That's what we expect from her, and very good performance.
So officially, Jess Jonathan is the player of the match, 42
Yes.
unbeaten of 20 deliveries, and with the ball 4 overs, 43. Although she got a bit expensive, but she bowled the tough overs in the middle as well during the death phase as well when Talia Megra was going all out. So Jess Jonathan deservedly is the player of the match. But any other particular performance you thought that stood out according to you, Atre? You can go first.
Well, it's an open and short case actually because there, yeah, if you had to choose a player of the match today, it's a easy pick between Lanning, Jonathan, and to a lesser extent Magra, because
Hmm.
Magra when she started scoring those runs, the match was over. It was only a question
Right,
of making that net run rate a little better. That's what she did to an
right,
extent. But it was always going to be between Lanning and Jonathan. But I would say Jonathan is the right choice because she scored those crucial runs when they were very important. And had they
right,
not got those runs, UP might have been chasing something around 180 instead of 211. And she also took those wickets in the middle overs, as you said. I mean, she went for runs only in the closing stages when Magra went after
right,
her. But otherwise, I think
right.
Jonathan is there is not it's not a difficult choice, and it was a match where not many others to choose from. You couldn't give it to Shikha
True.
Pandey because Shikha Pandey although she bowled very well, brilliantly, as Bharat was pointing out, but her job was made easier by the wickets taken by their earlier bowlers and the amount of runs their batters put on board. So it was very difficult to look beyond Jonathan in this match.
Right, right. Absolutely agree. Bharat, do you agree with that?
Yeah, surely. Just from an Indian perspective, obviously not player of the match, but just from an Indian perspective, again, it was good to see Radha Yadav taking that really good catch. We have seen before that she's a very good fielder, one of the better fielders in the Indian camp. We saw that I think in the series against England as well last year, where she did a brilliant piece of fielding. I think she stopped a boundary and then affected a run out. So obviously in the T20 World Cup, it didn't exactly go well for her in that semi-final game.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's just from an Indian perspective. I just wanted to add it was nice to see someone really feeling well.
But for Radha personally,
I thought I
her
thought
bowl a bit more.
Yes, yes.
I want to see her bowl a bit more because her only being
yeah.
a specialist fielder on the field doesn't make any sense. She bowled 1 over but conceded 11 runs there. But I would like to see her bowl more in the coming
Just from a
matches. Yes,
fielding
Atul, speak.
perspective, yes. because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Indian fielders drop a lot of catches. So that's why, from that
Yeah,
perspective,
yeah, of course.
I see.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt about Radha Yadav being one of India's top fielder, if not the best fielder. Of course, yeah, I would put her as the best fielder, but there's always a place for debate. Atro, your thoughts?
I thought Kiran Navgire also took a brilliant catch, and
Yeah, that was a good catch.
although her team missed catches of Jemima and Jonathan in the closing stages, that could also have
Hmm.
kept the total say within 180 185. That didn't happen,
Right.
and yeah, it was good to see Radha Yadav take that fantastic catch, and also she stopped a few good. I mean, she was good in the ground fielding also. So I
Right.
think that is where Delhi Capitals have a slight edge above the other teams in terms in the sense that they are a crack fielding side, and as you pointed out that Radha Yadav didn't bowl as many overs as one would have liked. Arundhati came on to her only over was the last over of the match, although she's inside for
Hmm.
bowling. So that shows the kind of
Hmm.
I mean problem of plenty that this Delhi Capital team seems to have. They are winning matches. They have won 2 matches convincingly so far without using all their resources. So that's a sign of a
Right.
good side, and all other teams will be
Right.
very very wary of them.
Of course, and that is where I think there's another question from Shobik Mukherjee. Alisa must put a price tag on her wicket, considering they don't have enough batting depth. I agree with that. I agree with that, and we spoke about RCB as well, with Smriti Mandana doing something similar. In that RCB unit, and with two domestic players in the top three, I think the onus is on Elisa Healy to carry that batting unit, or at least the top order, unless the likes of Talia Megra or Deepti Sharma or other batters come into the play. So yes, of course, I agree that Elisa Healy has to put a price on her wicket and carry that top order, at least when it comes to UP Warriors. But thank you so much, Bharat Atro, for the joining for this post match show. We have another good match tomorrow with Gujarat Giants taking on Royal Challengers Bangalore. Both of them are winless in this tournament so far. So one thing is guaranteed, that either of them will have their first win of WPL. Who gets that? It remains to be seen. But we'll be there. Will be there for the pre-match show, discussing the preview, the matchup, the predictions. Although doesn't like the prediction and matchup parts a lot, but we'll be there to discuss that. And of course, we'll join for the post-match show to discuss and to see which team gets their first ever win in this WPL. Gujarat Giants versus Royal Challengers Bangalore promises to be a good contest in WPL, and the action continues. Thank you, Bharat. Thank you, Atro, for
Thank
joining
you,
in.
sir.
That's it for this
There's a, there,
post